Hey everyone, today I will be showing you my bookshelves, my reading spots, and my desk area. Right now we're in the piano library room, and this is the desk that I always use when I am writing my books. So this is where the hard work is done. Now as we go into the dining room, you can see that I have a special couch, and this is my reading couch for when it's very dark outside, because this is a spot that has a lot of natural light, so I love using it in darker days. On the wall, I also have a map, a huge map of Middle Earth. Now let's go to the living room. This is where I do most of my reading, and as you can see I have a little cart with books that I still need to read, but I will get into those books at the end of the video. Since it will be taking way too much time to go over every book, I will just pick out a few books from every shelf. So the left side of my bookshelf is reserved for Tolkien. I'm a huge fan of his books, and this is just, the left side is reserved for Tolkien. So you can see the History of Middle Earth collection and some trinkets. You can see everything in depth in my Lord of the Rings collection video. Here on the left side I also have a Saruman. And all of the collectibles that you see actually were a gift from my parents. Now let's go to the middle section of my bookshelf. Here I have all my fantasy books, and there are a couple of rows of them because I love fantasy. But here is a shelf completely reserved for Brandon Sanderson, his books. I put Elantris like that because it's my favorite Sanderson novel. I actually read all of the books that you see in this closet, except for a few that I didn't read. For example, The Way of Kings. And all of these books I haven't read because they're just huge, and I always postpone reading them. But this year I am definitely reading the first book in his series, The Way of Kings. But all of the others I have read. Now the next shelf is also fantasy. And this shelf is also fantasy, and this one I am currently reading the third book in this trilogy, so that's why it is empty. So yeah, these are the books. You can pause them if you want to see them in depth. Then on top we still have fantasy books. And then we are going to the thriller and horror books. Here we have a section of dystopian books. I love dystopian, and these are actually one of my all-time favorite series. I just love them so much. Then I'm going over to the fiction and novels. For example, Watership Down. I actually really adore this edition. I think it is stunning. And then on the next shelf we also have more fiction novels. This one was such a great one. I loved reading it, The Honey and the Sting. It was actually a cover buy, but oh my gosh, the story was so good. Bridget Collins. I love her novels so much. The Binding, The Betrayals, all amazing, amazing novels. And limited editions. Then I am going over to the historical fiction section. So these are my historical fiction novels. Pandora was one of my favorite books I read last year. Let me show you, it was absolutely amazing. It's also a limited edition that I got as a gift from my best friend. And I just love this one so much. The Sin Eater was also a novel that I absolutely loved. And then on the bottom shelf I have history books, biographies and such about Louis XIV, the Sun King, the French Revolution, biographies about Victor Hugo. Then I have a section of books like anatomy, science, and books about writing, the art of writing and storytelling, because I'm an author. And then on the right side I have this part of my bookshelf reserved for classic literature, and as you can see it is getting way too small. So on the left side we have some Honoré de Balzac, I have some Cervantes books, Don Quixote in the original Spanish language. I absolutely love these, and they're so tiny and cute, and I love the story so much and I wanted to have them in the original language. Here is a statue of Voltaire, and I bought it in the Pantheon in Paris and I absolutely love it. I also bought this little card of Voltaire, and I love his, let me show you, I love his novel Candide very much, and I would love to read more of his books, but this is, I highly recommend this book, it is so good. Anyway, let's get back to the shelf. These are my Chiltern Classics edition, and I love these editions so much. They're gorgeous, and they have golden sprayed edges. I love it so much. I still need to read The Tenants of A Wildfell Hall. Maybe I will get to it this year, hopefully, but the others I have read. These are, those were second-hand editions that I found, and they are Jane Eyre, The Picture of Dorian Gray, Great Expectations, and this one is actually unlocked, and yeah, the front is also really beautiful. And this was just a novel that I bought because it was so pretty. Like, look at those golden embossings, it's so beautiful. Then we're going to my Victor Hugo collection, which is spread over these two shelves. And on the first shelf I have my French editions. Notre Dame de Paris. This is just a book about churches, but I also like the spine, so I put them in here. The reason I also have this book is because I was at this second-hand book market and I opened this book and it fell open right onto the Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. And everyone who knows me well knows that The Hunchback of Notre Dame is my favorite novel of all time. And so this book fell open on the cathedral and I thought, okay, this is my sign to buy it. So that's the story behind this novel. Then I have Les Misérables and a bunch of second-hand novels by Victor Hugo. These are the titles. So if you want to pause them, if you want to pause the video and see the titles. This is also, these are some French editions of Notre Dame, 3 of them. This is also a French edition of Notre Dame, and then I have my English section of Notre Dame de Paris. So I have 4 editions in English, and no, 5, because I'm currently rereading it for the 4th time with my book club, and we are reading Notre Dame, and one of the editions is lying in my couch. I have 2 Dutch editions, and then I have recently bought these editions from Victor Hugo, books that I still need to read because I haven't yet, and I'm deeply ashamed. Tailors of the Sea and 93. Still need to read those. This is actually a amethyst stone that I bought when I was traveling in America, and I got this one from Barnes & Noble, and I absolutely love it. Then I have some more novels. This is also from the Pantheon in Paris, where he was buried. So this one I have, and then 2 editions of Les Misérables. On the next shelf I have some classic books that are written in Dutch. The Great Gatsby, some Pushkin. These are Russian authors that I put together here. And then I also have 2 box sets of Anne of Green Gables. I did a review about the box, so if you would like to see it more in depth, then I can recommend you to watch that video. Here I also have some beautiful editions like Candide, The Phantom of the Opera, and Christmas Carol. Then on the last shelf, and as you can see I don't have enough room for all of my books, but some Alice in Wonderland books, Romeo and Juliet, Jane Austen, some Jane Austen in French because I love these covers, and then some Penguin classics. I still need to read Middlemarch, so that is on my list, and the others I have read. In here are my stationery supplies because I love journaling, I love writing with fountain pen, so that's all organized in there. And then I keep my dust jackets that I don't use on my books in here. And I also keep my bookmarks, special cards and everything from limited editions. I keep it here. And then on that side I have my piano score music and everything concerning sheet music and my piano stuff. Okay, so we're back in the living room and I want to show you guys what's in this little tray, because these are books that are in my living room in this tray, and these are books that I still need to read and that I will hopefully get to this year. The first that I have is Lost Illusions by Henri de Balzac. I also have another one by Balzac, Old Man Goriot. Also a Penguin Classics edition. Then we have Victor Hugo, The Man Who Laughs. Very excited about it. 1793. Very excited about this one too. Then I have Crime and Punishment by Dostoevsky. I don't know how to pronounce it, I'm sorry. And this one is also, I'm so excited to read it because I've heard amazing things about it. Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy. Oh my gosh, look at this edition. You guys, I am so happy that I found it. It is stunning and I'm hoping that I will love the story just as much. Another one by Thomas Hardy, Tess of the Duberville, if I pronounce that correctly, and look at that, so beautiful. And the last one I have here is The Count of Monte Cristo. Very excited for it.